Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ron Braid. I am the Director of Goddard's Office of Human Capital Management and your host for the 2013 Agency Honor Award Ceremony. If you wouldn't mind, please rise for the presentation of colors by the Joint Armed Services Color Guard. Please remain standing during the performance of the National Anthem as sung by Technical Sergeant Aaron Page of the United States Air Force.
Say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Right, hold ho!
Please be seated. Our sincere thanks to the Joint Armed Services Color Guard from the United States Army Military District of Washington and Technical Sergeant Aaron Page of the United States Air Force for their stellar performances. Let's give them a big round of applause. At this time, I would like to introduce Chris Scalise, the Director of Goddard, who will give the official opening welcome address.
Well, good morning, everybody. This is one of those days when you're really glad to be standing up in front of everybody on the day that we honor all the people that have done such an exceptional job throughout the year and throughout their careers. Just to remind everybody, the awards being handed out today are the agency's awards. They're the highest awards that NASA bestows on individuals and groups. And just looking out there with all the awardees, I think it says a lot about the quality of work that we do here to see so many people being recognized today. But I would also like to recognize that you don't all do it yourselves. And at this point, I'd really like the family members and friends of the people getting awards to please stand up. And you're doing because we all know that while the people here today being honored did some spectacular things, they also had to give up a lot, and their friends and their families had to deal with them being away for long periods of time, many times, and I'm sure they came home a little bit grumpy every once in a while, wondering why that Scalise was making them do this, that, or the other thing. And you all put up with it and helped make all of NASA a better place, and certainly helped make Goddard Space Flight Center an outstanding place, and to earn these people recognition. But today you didn't come here to hear me speak, and today we're very, very fortunate. We have two distinguished guests here that to help recognize all the people that have won their awards, and to recognize the work that Goddard has done. We have Patrick Sherman from the Marshall Space Flight Center. He's the center director there. And we have Representative Edwards, who represents Maryland's 4th Congressional District. I'd like to introduce Representative Edwards now. She is a great friend of the Goddard Space Flight Center. She worked here, in fact, so she knows us very, very well. So you can't fool her at all about anything. As I've mentioned, Congresswoman Edwards represents Maryland's 4th District. It's comprised of portions of Prince George's County and Anne Arundel County. As I said, she's no stranger to the center. She represents many of our employees. She has worked here. She is the ranking member on the House Science, Space, and Technology, or Subcommittee on Space, which is part of the House Science, Space, and Technology Committee. She's a strong advocate for NASA. In just the last few months, you have heard her speech, I'm sure, about the future of the space program, and she's been here. She stayed up with us all night when we landed Sam on Mars. I keep on telling my friend Charles Alachi that that's really all he did. It wasn't the Curiosity thing, it was Sam that was landed on Mars. But Ms. Edwards spent the whole night with us, and I spoke to her shortly after the landing. I was in California, not only watching Sam, but hoping I wouldn't have to be the mishap chair if Sam didn't land successfully. But it did. With that, I'd like to invite Ms. Edwards to come up and speak to us for a bit.
Thank you very much. Well, good morning, Goddard. Good morning, NASA. It's so wonderful to be here with you again. I just love coming to Goddard Space Flight Center. It feels like home. Director Scalise, thank you, and to all of the workforce here and partners for all of the work that you do. And I get to say for the first time very publicly how much I value and appreciate the work that's under the direction of Patrick Sherman and the work of the Marshall Space Flight Center. So thank you, and we all know what that means. I want to offer a really hearty congratulations to all of the both individual and group and team award winners today. When you just look through those who are being honored, your scientific and technical and research achievement, your achievement in terms of keeping all of this running is pretty remarkable. And I think if only we could tell the big story of this agency and all of the work that you do to the American public, there would be no question from anyone about how much we need to resource all of your work. I'm just standing here, and of course, Director Scalise, as you mentioned, I worked over here at Goddard, and as I'm looking around, I see a couple of people I haven't seen in 20 years. Angie, it's nice to see you today. And so, again, thank you all so much for the work that you do. Please know that in the United States Congress, you have a friend, a real big friend over on the Senate side, and Senator Mikulski and others. You also have a really huge friend on the House side in Donna Edwards, who values tremendously the work that you do and the future that you're trying to create for all of us. Thank you very much.
Well, it's going to be hard for Patrick to follow that, but I can second that we have no better friend in Congress than Senator Mikulski and Representative Edwards. Can't imagine two more supportive people, other than the rest of the Maryland delegation, of course. Just to cover myself. But really, I mean, it's just wonderful to be able to have a delegation and people like Representative Edwards that care so much about not only the work that we do and the value we bring to the nation, but also the care about each and every one of you. It makes us a stronger organization overall. But now it's my pleasure to introduce Patrick Sherman. Patrick and I go back a fair ways, having known each other certainly during the fly out of the shuttle program, and that was a great experience. And we've had the opportunity to visit each other's centers, and now Patrick gets the opportunity to speak at our award ceremony, as I did a few weeks ago at the Marshall Space Flight Center. And when I was down there, I mentioned that we're not really all that different in centers. And you know, we both have strong engineering organizations, we both have strong science organizations, and we both have great people that make those organizations accomplish what they do. So you're going to hear from Patrick about his views. Patrick joined NASA in 1988 as a propulsion test engineer at the Stennis Space Center. He supported the testing of a developmental spacecraft propulsion system for NASA's Advanced Launch System, then known as the National Launch System Program. Prior to that, from 86 to 88, he worked on the space shuttle main engines for the Boeing Company in St. Louis, Mississippi. But at NASA, his career progressed rapidly from the lead mechanical engineer, as I mentioned, on the National Launch System, to project manager for the NASA's reusable launch vehicle system and the Volatile Expendable Launch Vehicle program, the National Aerospace Plane, all at Stennis. Following that, he took a detour to expand his knowledge as part of the Congressional Fellowship Program. So from 1998 to 2000, he served as a legislative fellow for U.S. Senate Majority Leader Trent Lott of Mississippi. And then he rapidly moved from chief of the new business office at Stennis to the chief operating officer of Michoud operations, to the deputy director, and then the director of Stennis. However, since September of 2012, Patrick has been the director of NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center. As the head of Marshall, he is responsible for one of the largest field installations located, of course, as you know, it's located in Huntsville, Alabama. He also has responsibility for Michoud again in New Orleans. As the director of Marshall, Patrick manages a broad range of propulsion, scientific, and space transportation activities, as you well know. Also, Patrick has received numerous awards and honors during his career. In 2006, he received NASA's Outstanding Leadership Medal for leading the recovery efforts at Michoud following Hurricane Katrina. He received NASA's Exceptional Service Medal in 2001 for demonstrating substantial improvement in engineering, aeronautics, spaceflight, and space-related endeavors. He also received a Distinguished Alumnus Award in 2001 from the University of New Orleans, and in 1998, he was a finalist in NASA's Astronaut Candidate Selection Program. So Patrick has pretty much covered the spectrum and knows almost everything there is to know about NASA. So please join me in welcoming Patrick Sherman.